All right, this is Adam House again. Today is Tuesday, January the 20th of 2026, the day after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And today was the Women's March Movement's Free America effort to walk out nationwide. Generally, I think it was supposed to be at 2 p.m. in whatever time zone you were in, although I did see some uh, specific events around the country that did schedule for different times of day. Um, but this thing kind of seemed like it came together at the last minute. Um, I believe it's been less than 2 weeks since I saw that this effort was being advertised. Um, at first when I saw it advertised, I thought, this may be worthwhile, something I might want to participate in. And I started looking for events in my local area. Um, I don't even think I saw one in Nashville, which is like, 30 miles or 45-minute drive or something from here to downtown Nashville. So, now I think there was one scheduled in Nashville in recent days. There was also one scheduled here in Murfreesboro just in the last few days, kind of at the last minute. But, basically less than a week ago, I decided, well, if nobody, I wasn't able to find one locally, so I felt like if nobody else is going to do this here locally, then I'm going to go ahead and organize one on campus where I'm a student at Middle Tennessee State University. As a senior right now, earning my bachelor's degree on my military education benefits as a disabled retired combat veteran of the United States Army, 173rd Airborne. Um, yeah, so this is kind of an after action review. Those of you that are Army Hooas, you know what I'm talking about. An AAR, after action review, for the rest of you, is basically just reviewing what you've just done. Anytime you go through a training, have some kind of event, afterwards you get together, have a little powwow, talk about what went right, what went wrong, what you learned from it, what maybe could be done better next time around, and that kind of thing. So this is basically my after action review of today's walkout at Middle Tennessee State University. All right, so a couple of things about this. First of all, this was planned in only about 4 or 5 days. So, keep that in mind. Also, today was the first day of classes for the new semester, for spring 2026 semester. So what that means is that basically we didn't really have time to organize a big effort. We didn't already have the ability to be on campus catching people between classes with flyers and tabling and, getting the word out amongst our networks, our contacts, our social media and things like that. So basically, I'm saying this to just make the point that there was a very short window to organize this in, and we didn't have the advantage of being able to make contact with students before today on campus as people are going to classes. So going into this walkout today, and again, there was a nationwide effort, many events across the country, but I'm specifically talking about the one on MTSU campus. Going into today, the few of us that knew about it ahead of time and were trying to organize ahead of time, we really just didn't know what to expect. You always want to have a big crowd, right? Crowd size is always some metric that's important, right? But, we knew that we couldn't count on a big crowd. We knew that with it being the first day of classes and such a short organizing window that we couldn't expect a lot of people. Although I will have to say we made a pretty damn good effort for just the couple of days we had. We got out a lot of flyers. We made a lot of contacts. And so what it boils down to is today we had a small crowd, very small crowd of people that showed up for the on-the-ground protest. And we met in front of one of the buildings on campus. And, at first there was only a handful of us kind of standing there. And we had signs, and we've even had extra signs that we had made for people, stragglers that might come along and want to join us. And so if you want to measure this success of today's event by the number of people who participated, then I would say, that's probably not a fair metric. And if you measured it in that sense compared to how many students there are on campus, then you might call it a failure. But I wouldn't call it that because, again, considering what we were working with, we didn't have any realistic reason to expect a lot of participation. So most students who even participated today were people that didn't even know about it until today. So they literally, some of them only had, a couple hours to be aware of what was going to happen and to decide whether they could or would or should participate somehow. So with all of that said, I really count today as success. And the reason is, if I can back up for a minute, like I said, I'm a senior on campus. I go full time. I take classes full time. And, over especially last semester, but, for longer than that now, we're in a very blue, or I'm in a very red area here in Middle Tennessee. I think Tennessee went like 60 some odd % for Trump in all three of the last presidential elections. So it kind of tells you what we're working with here. We're in enemy territory, so to speak. But that's okay. Airborne here. I don't mind being dropped behind enemy lines. That's where I'm comfortable. I'm there just to fuck shit up, right? But anyway, yeah, so I think it was a success because, in the last semester and even beyond that, a common comment, a common theme that I hear among students, and most of them are young. I'm a non-traditional student, which is code for old guy going back to college. But most of these young people, in an area like this that is so red, on a campus that basically, we have monuments on our campus to Confederate generals and even to the first Grand Wizard of the KKK. So, it's not like we're in a friendly area for anti-fascist activity. And I've heard a lot of these young people commonly say things like, I don't know what to do. I feel so isolated. I feel alone. And maybe they'll even say something like, I want to reach out to other people, but I really don't know how, like to start a group or to do something to build community for those of us who do feel isolated and alone in a very red area that is not friendly to people that believe in rich diversity and supporting immigrants and friendly to LGBTQ people, and basically believe in a pluralistic society with equal rights under constitutional law. And so, you know, today we really focused in our walkout event on campus. We really focused on the theme of you don't have to be alone. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel isolated. That there are other people on this campus who feel like you do. And so what we really focused today's event on was just visibility. Even if there was only a handful of us, we created visibility so other people understood that, there are people on campus that feel alienated, isolated, alone, like maybe you do, and, come over, talk to us, come over, meet us, join us. But even if you don't, understand that we're here and you're not alone. And I think that was a very powerful message. It was a very powerful message. And it resonated. And so the small handful of people that we started out with started to grow over the course of, we had our protest, our demonstration scheduled for an hour. And over the course of that hour, people would start to walk up to us, and they would see us holding our signs that say Trump must go now, and ICE out for good, and immigrants make America great, and ICE is the Gestapo, and love thy neighbor, and diversity is strength, and resist fascism, oppose racism, support our immigrant community, and oppose xenophobia, and things like this. And that message drew people, passers-by, to actually come over. And some of them just, they only had time. They were maybe between classes or something, and they saw us there, so they only had time to say hi, thank you for being here. I'm glad to see somebody's speaking out, doing something. And there were a lot of people that did that. I mean, a lot. There were a lot of people that did that today as they walked by our demonstration on campus. And then there were people that came over, and they did want to talk. They did want to meet us. They did want to connect with other people that were taking a stand and making it known that, we don't want people to feel alone on campus in this red state, in this red area that's usually not friendly to diverse people. And then there were some that even came over and even asked, do you have another sign? Because they wanted to join us. They wanted to stand with us and hold their signs up that say deport Trump, or ICE is the modern KKK, and things like that. So I say today was really a success because so many people today expressed how much it meant to them. And, some of the people that joined us at the last minute, that didn't know what we were going to be doing today, but they joined us when they saw us out there, really had some powerful things to say. And I'm getting emotional just thinking about this right now, because Americans need to understand, I'm on campus with a lot of these young people, and these young people are scared. They're scared of this regime. They're not just concerned. Those of you that have embraced this hateful MAGA thing, this hateful Trump shit, you're scaring your kids to death. Um, one young lady that had joined us, so towards the end of when we were wrapping up to, finish our demonstration, I asked everybody to just kind of bring it in and gather around, and so we could just kind of go around more like a circle to talk to each other, and everybody, if they wanted to, could introduce themselves, or if you had anything you wanted to say, get off your chest, something in your heart that you just really wanted to share, wanted to give people space to do that. And one of the young ladies that had joined us today, when she came by and saw us, and you could tell she's not like a one of these like cliche kind of emotional types that just cries all the time or whatever. I mean, she seemed like she was a stable, put together, intelligent young lady, just like an average person. And she got emotional, and she, was basically sharing how she was scared, and she had been holding it in, and because she didn't know what to say or who to say it to, and she does feel alone and isolated. And another young lady said, I was born here, but my parents were immigrants. And, because she is obviously not white, that she is scared for herself, but she's even more scared for her parents right now. They're keeping their ear to the news and to things that are going on, and their family is living in fear right now. In America, an immigrant family that came here and has worked hard for decades and raised, by any stretch that I could tell, any metric that I could tell, they've raised a really bright young lady, their daughter, who's in college right now, and presents herself very professional, and you can tell she's going to be she's going to be a successful woman in the future, and she's living in fear. She's living in fear in America because of what our government is doing right now. So, again, I say today was a success because these young people need support right now. And if you have kids that are in high school or college age, young adults, you need to be talking to them right now. Because these young people, especially the ones that are, the bright ones that are really paying attention, that are very astute, they see what's going on, and they understand more than you might realize. And they're hurting right now. They're scared, and they're hurting right now. And they don't know what to feel or to think about the future in front of them. So, I've had a little time to reflect on this today now, and so tonight, I was sitting here thinking about making a video, just kind of talking about, today's experience, and it dawned on me, you've got a lot of groups out there that, like white supremacist, Christian nationalist type groups, like Turning Point USA, and other right-wing groups like that are specifically organizing on college campuses right now. And, I'm around a lot of these young people too, and I'm telling you, what we're feeding those young people right now is not, it's not good for them, and it's not going to be good for them in the future. And it's not going to serve them well to go through life with this kind of, religious zealotry, and and radicalism, like racial radicalism, and the lack of tolerance, the intolerance that they think is the right thing. Instead of these young men being taught to respect things like honesty and courage, real courage, real bravery, which means standing up for what's right even when it costs you something, for telling the truth even when it hurts or when it doesn't serve you to do so. To stand up for the vulnerable, the weak, the ones that are marginalized. That's real masculinity. That's real courage. That's real bravery. That's real integrity. And instead, these young people are being taught this. These young men, especially, are being taught false bravado and like chest thumping machismo, and they're substituting that for what should be morals, the real morals, not this fake Christian nationalist bullshit that they're being indoctrinated with, and being taught to be zealous about, and to close their ears, and to never listen, but to just preach their message, and try to roll over everybody who doesn't agree with them, and look down on people who don't hold the same views that they do, and basically to be ignorant. And the dangerous, scary part about it is that it's not just that they're being taught to be ignorant, it's that they're being taught to be proud to be ignorant, to be like boldly ignorant. So, it's a failure of leadership at many levels. My generation, Generation X, we've really failed this oncoming generation. We've set them up for failure. We really have failed them. The American people have really failed our kids. And so anyway, yeah, it's time for us to organize. If I learned anything today, if I just kind of zoom out and look at the big picture, if I learned anything today, it's that our young people need help. They need help right now. They need support. They need encouragement. They need to feel safe. They need to feel secure. They need to know that people still care about them, that people still care about their well-being, about their development, just their chances in this world, their chances in life. They need to know that we're still willing, that there's people willing to invest in them and want to see them do well, and want that we, the older people, want to leave something behind for them. We want to pass something off to them that's still good, that's still worthwhile, something that they can still be proud of. And MAGA ain't it. Trump ain't it. And this far right shit that America is doing right now, this authoritarian garbage that we're doing right now, that ain't it. These kids' birthright is supposed to be more than that. If you're born an American, you're born in a birthright of freedom. That all men are created equal, endowed with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that these rights, these liberties will be secure, that we secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. And those rights that have been canonized in the Bill of Rights, in the amendments to the U.S. Constitution, all those rights that we hold dear are under attack right now by this authoritarian Trump regime. And our young people see it, they feel it, they're scared by it, and they need our help, they need our support. They need to know that we're there for them, and they need us to invest in them. And so, if I could say anything about what I think needs to happen next, and again, this is zooming out big picture, I'm just talking general terms, and all across the country, all over America, we need to organize. We need to continue to organize, and we need to focus on our college campuses and get organized. The authoritarians are organizing, and the white nationalists are organizing, and the forces of willful ignorance and anti-science and conspiracy culture and exclusionary hatred, xenophobia, racism, all these forces are organizing, and they're beating our tail right now, and they're scaring the pants off our kids. And we got to do something about it. We got to do something about it. We've got to step up. We've got to change the game. So take that for what you will. Those are my thoughts coming out of today's Free America Walkout, an effort of Women's March, and my experience, my anecdotal experience, organizing the Free America Walkout on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro. Good news coming out of this is we had a good little group today that got to know each other and exchange information and things. And I think there may even be an actual organization that gets born out of this, so that there is a resource on the books on campus at our university for people who are feeling marginalized, isolated, and alone in a deep red state, in a deep red area, that they have some kind of resource, some kind of community that they can plug into, and feel like they can belong, and that they don't have to be scared alone. Studying fascism like I have, one of the fascist tools, tactics, is to try to isolate people, the opposition, try to make resistors feel alone, to feel helpless, to feel hopeless, and discouraged and alienated. And so that's the first step that I think is important right now, is for us to fight back against that, and organize community, organize humanity, organize around love for one another, and these young people need us, folks. America's young people need us right now. We all need each other right now. I never in my life believed that our country would be in a position like we're in right now, alienating our friends and allies all over the world. We're going to pay such a heavy price for the Trump regime. Such a heavy price. It already hurts, but the pain has just begun. And so it's up to us. There's nobody coming to help us. There's nobody coming to save us. There's no leaders to do it for us. It's time for us to truly be of, by, and for we the people. Let's stand up, America. Love y'all. All power to the people.